And she barged in the room and she's like, I'm leaving you because we're not having sex and I need to have sex. So I'm leaving you right now. Uh,
Uh,
and that was like, what are you talking about? So, back and forth. And
right.
yeah, it came down to, I realized I had no sex drive either. We did our testosterone levels, went back to the doctor, and he's like, dude, your testosterone levels are of that of a grandfather. Like they're
Mm.
so low.
Well, welcome to the Epicist. We have a great guest today that we're going to be talking about health, fitness, many things over 40. It's Funk Roberts. He's 53 years old. I'm going to read from this because I have a terrible memory. President and creator of Funk Roberts Fitness Inc., Funk Supplements Inc., and Over 40 Alpha Brotherhood. All sounds amazing. You're a former professional indoor beach volleyball player, and a pro Muay Thai fighter. And you train at the highest levels, obviously, because to be able to do that, you would have to train at the highest levels. And I'm just looking at you. There's a lot of things here.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
don't
let
have
you
to go
tell.
through all that. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I think your biggest accomplishment is that you're married to an amazing, beautiful wife, and you have an amazing son.
100%.
Yeah.
Those are great accomplishments. Absolutely.
Yes.
And thank you
So
for getting me on this podcast. I'm excited to share my knowledge with your listeners.
yeah, pleasure. So why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself and your history and what got you to this place where you're? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So I'm from Toronto, born and raised. My parents were incredible parents. One of the things that I always talk about is how my parents, through action, through what they did, really they were real role models to me. I think they guided my journey to where I am today just from the actions that they did. My parents were really great. They worked, you know, multiple jobs, but they were also athletes, like at the highest level. So like every week they would be coming home with trophies and trophies and trophies. And it's been like, man, this is what I'm looking at. And they got me into sports when I was younger, going to sports camp. And then as I was in high school, I was kind of like a jack of all trades. I could play every sport, but volleyball seemed to just I don't know, something drew me to volleyball a little bit more. I think it was just because I was a football player and the school I went to had no football. They had rugby and volleyball and football at the same time. But that being said, yeah, that just guided me through, playing at the highest level, both indoor volleyball and then on the beach as well, because beach volleyball in the 90s started to explode.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I played all over the world. I played on AVP. We had a tour here in Canada. And so that was amazing because it allowed me to experience a sport at the highest level, experience training at the highest level, and everything that comes with it. When I turned 30, I retired from beach volleyball and got into the corporate world, sales and all that stuff. And, with kids and kind of the
Mm.
9 to 5 grind. And, even though I still ran the tour, I still ran the professional tour in Canada for 3 years. I just needed that stability of the 9 to 5, right? And so,
Right.
getting into that world and growing through the corporate world and learning all the sales and everything else was great. And I loved it. And I'm always a high achiever. So my focus is always to be the best I can be at whatever I'm doing. Uh, then I moved into, my late 30s. And
Sorry, let me
you know,
just interrupt you for a
yeah,
second there.
sure.
You stopped volleyball at 30. Is that a sort of a normal age when people move on?
No, it's not actually. I stopped volleyball because I didn't have the passion for it.
Oh,
So
okay.
specifically beach volleyball, you can play much longer because you're playing on the sand. And so your joints aren't as beat up as you would be indoor. But I just did not have the passion I knew when I didn't have the passion, when I hated practicing.
Uh,
When I was training, I used to love, we get up early, 6 in the AM, go to the beach, train, practice, drill, then, do whatever throughout the day, and then come back at night, train, practice, drill. I used to love that. Like that was like my passion. And then it got to the point where I was hated training, hated coming home all dirty from the sand. And then when I was going to tournaments, it wasn't about playing, it was about making money.
uh,
And that was a difference. The year before was about playing, and that was the year we skyrocketed to number 3 in Canada.
mm,
The year after, it was all about making enough money for this or making money for that.
mm,
And I wasn't playing for the love of the sport. I was playing for the money. And And I just knew right there, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm just not happy doing it. And that's where
Right.
that transition happened. So no, that's not a normal age. It's usually much, much longer. Guys are
Okay.
still playing on the F5EB that I used to play with 20 years ago. It's insane.
All
It's
right.
insane.
So
So
you were doing these sales and
yeah.
whatever, and yeah.
And yeah, so then I got to then YouTube came around. And throughout my 30s, so 30s to 39, I was still I did some personal training. I used to run a boot camp here in Toronto. I used to run one of the biggest boot camps in Toronto. So when boot camp started, I started doing boot camps, and I would be lugging all my stuff to the beach or to the park, and then all the get everyone there. There'd be like 100 people showing up for these boot camps. It was great, and I loved it. I loved fitness. I loved health, and I was always
Mm.
I created a newsletter because blogging started to be big back in the in the late '90s, and
Mm.
so all or 2000 and all of that stuff I was doing while I was living in the corporate world, which was great. But I could see that my passion was really health and fitness. And so YouTube started. I started posting videos on YouTube. I had a newsletter that everyone I worked with was on. But in my late
What kind of videos were you posting at that
just
time?
workout videos. So I would just be,
Okay.
oh, here's my top shoulder workout. Here's my chest
Okay.
workout. So
Uh,
this is like when YouTube first started. So
Okay.
I have like 4,000 video or 1,000 and some odd videos. So if you go all
Yeah.
the way back, you'll see they weren't pretty, but they were good.
Yeah.
Um,
You're a pioneer.
one
One
of.
of them. Yeah.
So then 30 in my late 30s, I started to feel different, right? Like I just didn't know what was happening with my body. I didn't know what was happening with just the way I was feeling. I wasn't feeling right. I was still posting videos, but I was very puffy. Like I was 215 pounds. Like as a volleyball player, I'm only 5'11", but I could jump really high.
Right.
And usually when I was in my volleyball weight was about 190, 185, 190. But after going to the gym, doing the, bro split type training, chest, buys, tries, all that stuff, I started to get puffy. I was 215 pounds. I was very big and puffy.
Right.
And I couldn't lose the weight, but I wasn't eating right. And
Right.
I started to get injuries. I started to get, all of these little joint pain. And then I remember going to the gym the one day. I'm in the gym and I was training with my friend, and he turns to me and he goes, "Man, you are the hardest worker in this gym. I mean, you show up here 5 days, 5, 6 days a week. You're here
Yeah.
for about an hour and 15 minutes. You put in the work, and you've been doing this for like 8 months, and doesn't it piss you off that you look the same? You still look the same." And
Yeah.
that was a dagger because
Yep.
and of course I got defensive, right? Like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, dude, you're in here all the time, but you haven't changed. In fact, you look bigger and fatter. And that
Mm.
really hit me hard
Okay.
because I went home and I took off my shirt for the first time and looked at myself in the mirror because
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that. I put on my tank tops, I put on my shirts, I put on my suits, but I wouldn't really look at myself in the mirror. And then I
Mm.
looked at myself and I saw what was there. My stomach was really big and fat and very big and puffy.
Mm.
And that's when I just decided, okay, I have to hit the gym harder. Now, I guess I got to hit the gym harder. And tried all these diets. I tried the Atkins diet. I tried low carb, low fat. I tried all of this to lose weight.
Right.
And at the same time, I was living with a girl, and she barged in one day, or I got home one day and she barged in the room and she's like, "I'm leaving you because we're not having sex and I need to have sex. So I'm leaving you right now." Uh,
Uh,
and that was like, "What are you talking about?" So, back and forth. And
right.
yeah, it came down to I realized I had no sex drive either. So my sex
Right.
drive wasn't there. So she leaves me. Can't working out is not working. I'm starting to get injured. And then this brings me to a very low point in my life where I started to get stressed. I started to get depressed. I
Mm.
started to self-medicate by going to is this what kind of podcast is this? PG or
Nope, that's
okay.
not PG if you don't want it to
Okay.
be PG.
Okay. So um
Not X-rated though.
it's not like okay. So I used to go to I used to go to strip joints and
Yes.
do drugs. And because
Yes.
here's the thing, I wanted to mask my manhood, I guess is what it was.
Of
Because
course.
if she's gone, then where's the place I'm going to go to get the most sex to show that no, I am, I am a man. Is
Yes.
strip joints and so I was going to after hours, and it went down very very quickly to
Right.
the point where I was suicidal because I didn't know what was happening. Nothing was working. And then, of course, when you're medicating yourself with all of that crap, drinking and partying and not sleeping and all of that stuff, it just gets worse.
Right.
So at 39 years old. I get to the doctor, go for a year physical. He takes my testosterone.
Sorry, just let me interrupt for a
Yeah,
second.
please, please.
How long did you do this sort of partying phase and trying to affirm yourself through that kind of lifestyle?
Probably a year and a bit,
Yeah.
a year's a lot for me. Like a year of like literally every day going to that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
I became addicted. I was in
Yeah.
addiction. I became an addict from that. So, it was a year and probably more than a year. Sometimes you just don't, it's been so long that I
Sure.
don't remember the amount of time. And you do think it's like for years and realize, man, that wasn't that long, but to go down that fast. Like
Yeah.
I do everything at the highest level. So if I'm
Sure.
gonna
If you're gonna do it,
I'm
just
partying
go
at the
out.
highest
Yeah.
level. I'm
Party
always
like a rock. Party like a rock star. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so he took my testosterone. We did our testosterone levels. Went back to the doctor, and he's like, "Dude, your testosterone levels are of that of a grandfather. Like they're
Mm.
so low." And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "What are you talking about?" Because I assumed because I was a big guy that my T
Mm.
levels were big, and he's
Right.
like, "No, man, they're like 100. It's like at 185
Yeah.
nanograms per deciliter." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?" So, but I still didn't get it because unfortunately, testosterone is not there's not a lot of knowledge about testosterone. We only think of it as one or two things, but most men don't realize that testosterone is our number one male hormone. It's the most important hormone that we have, and we need to optimize that as much as possible. So
I'm
when he
with you on
started
that
to,
one, Funk, by the way.
yeah,
That's TRT or whatever, whatever you're into, like this whole understanding of hormones in general for men and women in Canada, anyways,
yeah,
is tragic. Like we just don't get it, how important a role they play in our lives.
yeah, it is. And when I, through the Alpha Brotherhood, and when I launched that, I realized that men don't know. They have no clue the power of testosterone and how that's the reason why they can't lose weight, build muscle. They don't have a libido. Their mood is low. They can't
Brain
sleep.
fog.
Yes, all of those things. And if
Yes.
as soon as they change that, because my program, we do it naturally, right? We naturally increase testosterone levels. It's night and day, like night and day. These guys are incredible. Anyways, I'll get to that in a second. But so as he started to tell me what happens when your T levels are at 185 nanograms per deciliter, it all made sense to me.
Right.
And that was the day I went home and said, okay, I have to change my life completely. I have to learn about how to work out better. I have to learn about how to eat. I have to learn about all of these things. And so within 6 months, I was 185 pounds, lean and ripped, and I was feeling amazing in recovery. Like literally, my life had changed within 6 months of really, truly diving into how to naturally increase testosterone. So this was
And
when I
how
was
did you learn about all that? Because of,
encyclopedias. Like literally, Google wasn't big there, so I was going to the library. I had
right,
my doctor give me a hormone specialist that I would literally bother every day. Like I'd be
right,
reading something and I'd be like, "Hey man, what is the?" It was. I just did what I could do because there wasn't a lot of information out there at
right.
that time.
There's a lot of
And
information out now, but a
now,
lot of it's bad information too. But there is a lot of information of it, obviously, with Google. And I mean, Google
yeah,
searches can be the best thing and the worst thing, depending on
right.
where your sources come from, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you know what? There still is there's a lot of info, but the awareness is still not there. Right.
Right.
The awareness is slowly picking up. Men are now realizing, oh, maybe it's my T levels. I'm hearing more people coming into the program about wanting to naturally increase their testosterone as opposed to lose belly fat. Right. And so that's good. That's good. But there's still a
So
lot of
when you say
work.
naturally increase, what does that
Yeah.
mean?
So we do it through nutrition, we do it through our workouts, we do it through sleep, we do it through recovery, we do it through mindset. That's all natural. So guys, when they come into the program, I get them to get their testosterone levels checked because most guys don't know what it is. So that's
Right.
one of the things we do. And then our program is set up to there's to hit different milestones, and we have something called the alpha zone, which means you want to get your T levels to 600 nanograms per deciliter, and your body fat percentage 15% or lower, because that's where testosterone production is optimized.
Right.
So with those gauges and the pro they just follow the program. These guys increase. Like we did a 90-day testosterone challenge a year and a half ago, and there was 80 guys, and 79 of those 80 guys, their T levels increased in 90 days.
Nice.
Just
What
to
is the
just
age range of those guys typically?
40s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Oh,
from
really?
40s to 70s. Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
that's everyone in the program. Um, so yeah, so once that happened, I had a new life. I had a new lease on life. Like I felt amazing because my T levels had tripled. My body was, I was training, I was doing more metabolic training as opposed to bro split training because I
Right.
learned that as we get older, we need to be training our total body 3 to 4 times a week as opposed
Mm.
to bis and tris, back and shoulders, chest, legs, and then go back to it because it's just a lot of we don't recover like we used to when we are younger, right?
Mm.
Our joints don't recover. So we need to focus more on recovery, which is mobility and that yoga, mobility, that sort of thing for our bodies. And just 3 to 4 times a week. That's all we need. Shorter
Would you
workouts.
classify that like as a functional training?
Metabolic training would be so yeah, metabolic training would be so 10 minutes. So let's go to the gym. You and I are going to train. We're going to do a 30-minute metabolic workout. We're going to do 10 exercises. And each exercise, we're going to do 45 seconds work followed by 15 seconds rest. And it's going
Right.
to be chest press to bent over rows to, an ab exercise to a lunge. So we're going to go in a circuit, just a regular circuit, but we're going to do it so that as many reps as possible during the 45 seconds with a little
Right.
rest in between. That kicks up our metabolic rate and
Right.
allows us to burn calories during and after a while, because we are putting a lot of, with that workout, with 45 seconds of one exercise using metabolic resistance training, because we need to build muscle. Now we're putting a lot of volume on that muscle, right? So that's one of the ways that we can help muscle grow: mechanical tension, metabolic stress, muscle fatigue. So we're getting the best bang for our buck. We're not overloading our body. And then that 30 to 40 minutes is the long. Well, I try to keep it to 30 minutes because we want our HGH, our human growth hormones. That's when they're optimized. When you start
Right.
to work out longer, like if you're doing cardio for 60, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, or you're in the gym for 60 minutes doing whatever you do for 60 minutes in the gym these days, your cortisol levels increase. And they
Mm.
and cortisol, although we need cortisol, is a stress hormone in the body, and we need cortisol.
Yeah.
Our cortisol levels are probably high right now, or a little bit higher, because we need to be focused. But
Right.
we need cortisol, but too much cortisol, chronic cortisol, that's not only killing our T levels and our hormones, but it causes belly fat storage and
And
a lot of
that's from
health.
stress, whether it be physical stress or emotional stress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But and again, we do need it. Like we're going to need it throughout the day.
Just
So
not that excessive amount
exactly.
and
So
not constant. Right.
right. Yeah, exactly. And so keeping the workouts shorter was huge, and total body was huge. And yes, functional training is one of the things I do currently now, through functional training, a little bit different, which is, the movement patterns, right? The fundamental movement patterns, because a lot of people will train body parts and not the movement patterns. But that's, again, there's so many different ways to train.
So when you're doing this circuit training, it's resistance training, but it's in the circuit, right? Am I
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
I'm assuming you're not going heavy weights. You're going lighter weights, but as many reps as possible. What I understand is going to failure, whether it be light weights or heavy weights, produces same results, less injury with lighter weights.
So I don't use light weights. And if you think 70 pounds for 45 seconds chest press is light, then it's lightweight, but definitely not lightweight. I
I don't
tell
mean
them,
lightweight. I mean
no, but
lighter than going like 4 reps of
yeah,
double
well,
that.
because yeah, so because the reason why I said that is because when people think lightweight, they
Yeah.
think 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds. What we do is I have to make sure that these guys increase their weight. So if you're still 3 months in my program doing 25-pound goblet squats, there's something wrong. You need to
You're right.
be increasing the weight to the point where you can do 50, 60, 100-pound goblet squats for 40 seconds.
Of
Yes, you're not
course.
going to be able to go unbroken, but that's what we're trying to build. So it's not generally lighter weight. It's just weight that you can handle for whatever that time period is. It could be 30 seconds, it could be 40 seconds, what have you. But you're not doing strength. Like strength training is different. Strength training, yes, you're going to go heavy for 4 to 5 reps with a longer weight, like two
I would
minute
find though
rest.
that especially at your age, but even my age, I'm a bit older than you, a
Yeah.
lot older. But that excessive weights, I just wouldn't want to take the risk of, a lot of people I know who do heavy weights, they got injuries, sore shoulders, or this or that, you know, sore joints. I'd rather just not take that chance. It doesn't. I don't think the benefits are worth it. So
100% they're not worth it. We
yeah,
should listen at 40 plus. There's no reason for us to do strength training unless we're competing in a strength training competition. We
right,
need to train so that we can be functional at work with our kids, when we travel, when we're hiking, with our bodies. Like that's how we train. We're not training to, unless you're training for a competition.
right,
Because when you're training metabolically in that way and you're eating healthy and you're sleeping, you're going to get the six pack abs. You're going to get shredded. Like when the guys come in my program, they're in the Over 40 Alpha Brotherhood. The last thing they think about is six pack abs. They just want to lose weight or
right, right, right,
whatever. Like they're in bad shape when they join my program. Very bad
right.
shape. After 3 months, they're feeling better. The body's starting to change. And then after 6 months, it's Funk. I want those abs. I want abs because they can
Yeah, yeah,
start
of
to see
course,
abs,
of course,
right?
yeah.
Plus, everything else is happening in their life. They're looking better. They're feeling better. They have more energy. They're stronger, like much stronger than they've ever been before.
Well, and
So
and all the other things you were talking about, the T levels go up, the
yes,
clarity goes up, the energy goes up, the virility goes up, all
yes,
these things.
yes,
Everything increases as a man. It's amazing, actually.
it is.
And especially as we get older, but we either let them decline or we bring them up. I mean, I won't criticize my friends, but a lot of my friends don't exercise, and I feel bad for them because, you know, I don't know. Like I have no aches and pains. I have lots of energy, lots of clarity. I run a few businesses. I'm very excited about life. I had a similar experience to you, by the way, where in my marriage, one of my previous marriages, I've been married more than once. Uh, stopped being interested in sex, but I didn't realize it. I had put on weight. I was tired. My energy was like crazy low. And my wife turned to me, wife at the time turned to me and said, we haven't had sex in a while. And I'm like, I didn't even think about it. And actually, that was the trigger for me to go get tested. My blood levels, my T levels were at the time I was in my 40s. I think they were in the like a 75-year-old man's T levels.
Yeah, me and you,
So,
buddy, we were saying.
so yeah, just getting all that back up to speed, is like, what a life-changing difference.
It was incredible. So in my 40s, so let me just talk about the 40s before the big thing that happened when I almost died. In my 40s, I had fought pro Muay Thai fight. So I trained a Muay
Yes.
Thai fight, went to Thailand, fought and won, got married to my beautiful wife, helped my kid go to school, to college, changed walked into my six-figure job and said, I quit. I want to do my, online stuff and health stuff and fitness stuff, grew my businesses. So and then started to travel all over the world and like, becoming more of a world renowned fitness expert in my niche, but being able to do that in my 40s, which is something that, generally doesn't happen. Most guys think that their life ends at 40, right?
Yeah.
Instead of begins at 40. So, if I look at my life prior and all of the accolades that I had, as a professional athlete and all the things that I did, throughout as a DJ and all those things. And now I look at in my 40s, like, man, it's like two different lives, completely two different lives. And so all of that was great. Why? Because I was eating the right way and training differently and,
Right.
really focusing on the things that are going to help me be the best I can be. And then in my 2018, I got something called crypto organizing pneumonia, which is a lung disorder. It's a very rare lung disorder. Not
Right.
many people know why it happens. But it's a lung disorder that happens and it continuously, so it gets to a point where if I get up from this chair and walk over to the corner, which isn't very far, I'd be my hands on my knees. I would be completely out of breath. It was just literally 7 steps. I could not breathe. And it's not
Wow.
about giving you oxygen or whatever. It's just the lung capacity starts to diminish. And
Wow.
so it got to the point where I went to see my specialist. They didn't know what it was at the time. They had no clue. They were going all over the place, sending me everywhere I'd gone. I had so many tests and scans and everything. No
They
one knew
probably
what
thought
it
it was
was.
heart related too.
Yeah, I mean, they knew it was something. They knew it was something. They didn't know because of I couldn't breathe. They had no clue, like
Right.
everything. And then finally, I went and had another test. Sat down. My sister actually took me because my wife was she was at a course in Ottawa,
Yep.
and he said, okay, you know what? Just go home. Okay. We still don't know what it is. I have one more person I want to talk to. He's from Switzerland. Go home and I'll call you. And as soon as we got in the car and got on the highway, he called and said, you know what? Your best bet is to be here because if you're going to die, you might as well die in the hospital. And so
Wow.
that was like, yeah, so turned around and I checked in and that
Yeah.
was it. I remember sitting on the bed and just thinking over like, okay, well, I guess this is it because these guys don't know what it is, and it's getting worse and worse, like to the point where I can barely walk without not being able to breathe.
Wow.
And I just looked at my life and realized, you know what? I guess I'm okay with this. Like I had to accept it. It was very difficult. It was a very dark first night before they came in the next morning and said they knew what it was. Crypto organizing. Then we got the uh, the operation. Everything is great. And now we get to the recovery portion.
Sorry.
The recovery,
So this is something they do by operation, not by medication.
well, they do it by operation, and then they give you the medication to decrease the inflammation in the lungs.
Okay.
Which and so the medication was prednisone. I don't know if you guys know what prednisone is, but it's like the
Yep.
worst
Of
catabolic
course.
steroid. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it 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 messes with your hormones. It makes your head this big. You literally lose muscle. Like it. I have a great picture of when I have a 6 pack and then when I had a 5 pack, and the muscle here is literally flat because there's no
Yeah.
muscle. Like it literally eats away the muscle.
Right.
So I had to go on prednisone. My doctor told me about prednisone, and it just doesn't. You don't really. Okay, okay, great, great. It's going to help me. Great, that's good.
Yeah.
Told me what's going to happen, but I'm like, yeah, whatever, whatever. And so my recovery is going okay until I get all the side effects of prednisone, and then I realized. I mean, I was at the point now. I don't do hormone therapy or testosterone, and I'm always against that. Not for anyone else. Anyone else can do it, but I just don't. But
Yep.
I got to the point where I went to my doctor and literally said, "Hey, man, I need to get on some testosterone." He's like, "No, we can't. What are you crazy? We can't do that. You're taking prednisone. You cannot do that." And so my mind is going, and I realize, oh, wait a minute, I have a program that helps you naturally increase testosterone. Maybe I can do my program, help me to recover faster, feed me the right foods, and maybe after, because prednisone also kills your T levels. Maybe after, my T levels will go up. And lo and behold, instead of being on prednisone for 2 years, I was only on it for 6 months. My
Right.
doctors could not believe it. They're like, "What is going on?" And that's when I knew that my program worked. That's when I knew that nutrition, sleep, all of the things that are part of the pillars of my over 40 Alpha Brotherhood program. Um, I knew it worked because it worked on me. And then that's when I started to build. And here we are today, helping men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s change their lives.
Amazing. So the pillars you talk about, so there's sleep, obviously. I think sleep is it's the most important, but it's also very difficult to manage, right? It's not something you can just make happen. You can, but it takes work. And then nutrition, of course, exercise. Uh, the ones I think of are hydration,
Mm.
uh, and then I can't remember the other one, but
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So the pillars, mindset's number one
yeah,
because we can't get anywhere until the person is ready and willing and has a strong enough reason, a strong enough why that they want to move forward. And also be open and be open to change and willing to change and willing to get rid of all of the things that they hear about working out and everything else that they hear, because that doesn't work for men over 40. Okay,
right.
that doesn't work for us because all the people who are, and no disrespect, but a lot of people, a lot of the things that you read are over 40 are mostly women who are writing articles for women over 40, right? Because
Yes,
women
yes,
consume most of the fitness stuff. So you're going to write that stuff. But
yeah,
sometimes that gets jaded to men over 40. It's the same person that wrote for women over 40, but now she's just changing, these are things for men over 40. So the information's not there, or there's a lot of information, or there's a lot of diets and all of those things. So just ensuring that, okay, listen, I got to clear my mind. My focus is on naturally increasing testosterone. My focus is on, helping me, turn my health around in whatever way.
so
So
let's
mind,
just talk about that briefly.
yeah.
So the guys who come to you
Mm.
in your program, I imagine they come from all sort of positions in their life, whether it be desperation or depression even, or their wife tells them they need to get in shape, or so I don't know. Like there's got to be a lot of reasons why the men are motivated to even talk to you, right? And how do you manage that? Like, how do you get people from a place of, they've been out of shape, unhealthy for most of their life, and now suddenly they're in their 40s or their 50s and they're thinking, I want to get healthy. How do you turn that mindset around? Because you talk about mindset, because I agree with you. If you don't have the mindset, you're going to do it for a brief period of time and you're going to get out, right? So how do you
Yeah.
help them get their mindset into that place where they really want this? Like it becomes part of their life rather than a burden.
Yeah, that's great. Yes, and you're right. They come from all over the world, first of all, and everyone. Usually, for us guys in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, something happened, like something chronically happened, chronic illness, something sparked it. Usually guys aren't. Oh, I need to get into shape. There's something has happened. So yes,
Okay.
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And so the very first thing is we do the why. What is your why? So going down that journey of them. Why do you want to lose weight, or why do you want to do X? And really digging deep into the why, not just I want to lose 20 pounds. No, we got to go deeper. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Okay, I want to lose 20 pounds so that my wife looks at me, with what she looked at when she first married me. Because right now, every time my wife looks at me, she looks at me with disgust because I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching the game, and then I look over and she looks at me like she wants to punch me in the face. You got to go deeper than that. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So I want that plus my kids. I can't even keep up with my kids. Like my
Mm,
kids are younger, and I'm running around with my kids, and I get out of breath, and then when I come home from work, so then it starts to get deep. Right now we're going deep. Now the why becomes a little bit stronger,
right.
because that why is going to help them get through the days when they don't want to work out. It's going to get through the days when Brenda comes into the office with donuts, and it's like,
Mm,
okay, guys, here's donuts.
yes.
Let's go, everyone. Right? Like, those are the times where you have to look at your why. You have to use that as an anchor. If you don't have a strong enough why, you will not be consistent. I see it
Well,
all the
and the
time.
why will come from the inside out, which
Yeah,
means it'll motivate from the inside out rather than, oh, I want to lose weight. Okay, but the why is inside. It's like that. It is part of who the person is, right?
100%. Yeah, it's the thing that's really deep and the thing that they know why.
Yeah.
Like most guys don't want to share this, right? Like guys don't like to share things. Guys don't like to be vulnerable. And
No.
so that's the other thing that I pull out is the vulnerability. Guys, this listen, we got to get vulnerable. The great thing is when you can give a space, like our brotherhood, the Facebook group, that's a space of guys who like everyone's on the same journey, right? Everyone starts in phase 1 and they go to phase 36 or whatever phase they end up in. Number 2, we don't talk politics or religion or pop culture or
Right.
any of that stuff. So there's a focus. Number
Okay.
3, when everyone starts in the same place, even when someone's in, like, let's say phase 14, and someone first comes and posts that picture of them out of shape, huge,
Right.
and they do the first workout, I'm like, man, that workout killed me. The person in phase 14 whose fitness level is way, like, if they did phase 1, they would crush it. They're saying, don't worry, I remember when I did phase
Right.
1, it was tough. So now there's that connection. There's no
Right.
like judgment. We don't judge, and there's no judgment. So when guys feel like they have a safe place, when other guys are sharing about their challenges, when other guys are sharing about things that are going on in their lives, along with seeing hope of, oh my God, look at all of these guys who literally transform their bodies. But not just that, all of like the guys who came in with type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetic who now are no longer diabetic, or all of those health issues that get turned around. There's
Oh yeah.
hope. And when people see hope, like because of what they see from other guys, when guys have that place where they don't care, I think I can trust it. It's gonna take a while. I gotta feel this out. But
And they
that
see that it's
why,
doable. They
yes.
like when you see someone who has gone from here to here, oh, it's doable,
Mhm.
because I would imagine, I've been in shape most of my life. I've tried to stay in shape most of my life. But I imagine coming in cold, being totally out of shape, not feeling great, just generally not healthy. The vision of where I could be is like it's like looking down a dark hole. I don't see anything. But when you have other men who are walking before you, you do see something. This is where you were, and oh, I see it. It's possible, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like so one of the things I had to change with my messaging and my business. Number one, my messaging was about testosterone when I first started in 2018, when I
Right.
first started this journey. And guys just didn't understand that. They just want to lose weight or burn fat or whatever. That's so I had to change that. And the second thing was I had to pull back from me, because this is not about me. My Everything I'm doing is about them.
Yeah.
And because when someone looks at me and they look at my body and they know my age, they're like, yeah, yeah, but you're Funk Roberts. Like that's not attainable.
Right.
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 So there's no connection. So yeah, you can do it because you can do it, but I can't. But so when I pull back and I put everyone else in the forefront, then they see, oh, wait a minute, that guy did it, that guy did it, that guy did it. Like we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. We literally have, I'll say this, we probably have the most transformations, body transformations in any fitness program. Maybe Kino Body, maybe close, but we have so many, it's insane because we track all of that. And so when other people, guys can see that, they're like, okay, oh, I look like that guy now that he looked like before. So that means I could
Yeah.
probably look like what he looks like now.
It's
Right.
amazing. So now
And
you've got the mindset,
yeah,
you've got the
yes,
motivation because there's other men who have, walked a little further in the journey. That's the motivation. Now you're dealing with some really practical things. One of the, so you talked about the pillars. Nutrition is a pillar. I find people are very emotional because people will come to me and say, "Oh, what do you do? Like, what do you eat?" And what I eat doesn't really matter. It's not what I eat because I think it's different for everybody. But to give up a food, like let's say to give up sugar, people are very emotionally attached to food. I'm blessed to be able to turn it on and off. Like somebody says, "Don't eat this," I just won't eat it. You know, it's not a big deal for me, but for most people, that's a huge deal to change nutrition. How do you deal with that?
yeah, nutrition's tough. So yeah, that's the biggest hurdle is reframing nutrition because it is very, very simple, but also understanding why you eat certain foods. And I think that's the big thing. You talked about emotion, right? So when you
Yes.
understand why you eat certain foods, when you eat those foods, when you understand, okay, if I eat this, this is what's going to do to my hormones. Because again, my program, I kind of try to get them to think about their testosterone first, because
Yeah.
then they'll be like, oh, this is testosterone booster, great. Okay, yeah, this is great for my T levels. Oh, this is awesome. And then these are the sugars, processed foods, soy. Those are things you stay away from because they kill your hormones. They
Right.
increase your estrogen levels. They destroy your health, right? So they're
Right.
not going to do any good for you. So now that they learn that through the first phase, and then my it's simple for us guys to enhance our hormones and just metabolism. So it's very simple. It's 3 meals a day, carbs, fats, proteins, and vegetables. So starchy, complex carbs. So there's a list. I try to
Yeah.
make it very easy. That's the other thing. I make nutrition simple. Not
Right.
You don't count calories. We don't weigh foods. Here's a list. Pick a source of starchy carb, a source of protein, a
Okay.
source of a healthy fat, and then vegetables or fruits, depending on the meal. And every single meal, you should be able to. Okay, there's my carb, there's my fat, there's my protein. If you can't do that, you got to go and get it. So 3 meals a day, which is something else that's very difficult for these guys to grasp, because they hear, oh, you gotta graze, you gotta eat 6 meals or 5 meals. No, no, man, 3 meals a day. That's it. Meal one, meal two, meal three, or breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever you call it. You eat it when you eat it, and you pick the foods from the list, because these foods are Metatest certified. Like they are the foods that are going to help our bodies. They're foods that are going to help our hormones. Foods going to
Okay.
help
So
our mind.
you're showing them what to eat, but I'm getting the impression you're also teaching them the
Yes,
why. Like, what is the reason for this, and what is the reason not to do this thing, right?
100%.
Be,
The coach,
be,
the go on. Sorry.
the education is because again, once they're educated, it comes from the inside out. Like they're doing it because they understand why.
Yes, exactly. When you do that, I just got goosebumps. When you know why you're putting foods in your mouth,
Yeah.
why you eat certain foods at certain times, the power is unbelievable, because
Yeah.
you have that already, right? For you, it's there. That's
Yeah.
the reason why you can turn it on and off, because you've just been doing it for so long. It becomes a
Yeah.
habit. Like for me,
Yeah.
I don't know any different to eat. Like this is how I eat. I don't know any different. Like I don't know. Like this is all I know. These are the foods I eat, and this is just how I eat. Like you said, how do you eat? How do you stay healthy? This is the way I do it. But
Yeah, I was at
the
my
thing,
nephew's birthday last night. Big cake
Mhm.
comes out, and my I think jokingly my sister-in-law said, "Oh, do you want a piece?" Knowing that there's no damn way I'm eating a piece of cake, but you
Yeah,
know, but I think for a lot of people that would be very difficult if they're trying to do this new nutrition,
totally.
and right there it is, it's in their face, right? And everybody's eating it except for them, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's why you need a strong why, because it's very
Yeah,
most guys will jump into the program before that, and that's where they get tripped up in cases where they go to a family place. But the other thing too is once one of the things that happened to me was, I don't drink alcohol. I just don't eat sweets and all of that stuff. So, but going to family get-togethers, going to parties, doing all weddings, all that stuff, right? The very first, year or 2 years, it's very difficult for people to grasp that, right? They can't
yeah,
get it. They don't get
yeah,
it. So they're going to
yeah,
continue. And I just say, no, no, I don't. No, 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 I don't. No, no, I don't. No, no, I don't. And
right.
then all of a sudden, you're going to parties and they're like, oh, Funk, the water is over here for you. Like,
Hmm.
like when I got a huge family. So whenever I go to family, they got the water over here for Funk. They got the avocado out, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
because it's just, they know, right? It's no big deal anymore. They know because you have shown them time and time again that, yeah, hey, I don't eat cake. But there's going to be people who don't know that. So you're like, yeah, no, no, I don't eat cake. No, have a piece. No, no, I'm good. I'm good. I want to keep the six pack. I always throw it back at the six pack or
yeah,
my health because that throws it back at them, right? They're
yeah,
like, oh, no, no, have a cake. Oh, no, I want to keep my six pack, man. And also, I don't want to eat sugar. It's bad for my health. So I don't push it on them. And that kind of stops it right there because people want you. They want you to come down to their level. Hey, wait a minute. You're too healthy. I don't want you to be healthier than I am. So have this
yeah.
cake, have this pizza, have this alcohol. Like they
Yeah, I'll
want
feel
you.
better if you can eat cake too,
Yeah,
right?
right. That's not happening.
Um,
But you do you. Like I'm always that person. Listen, you do you, man.
oh yeah. I
I'm
was just in
gonna,
Chicago with my buds from high school. We travel once a year, and they all drink and whatever they eat, whatever. And joke they know I haven't
yeah.
drank in years, in 30 years, but they'll actually go to the extent that when we split up the bill, they'll ensure that I'm not paying for the alcohol. You know, yeah, they're like, you're not paying for our alcohol. There's no way.
Yeah. That's
They get
that's
it after time. They just get it. Like
yeah. Yeah,
I don't have
that's
to explain
that's
it.
That's great friends, man. Because that's how I am when I go out with my UFC. I work with the UFC as well. So whenever our team goes out, same thing. It's like, hey, Funk, you don't have to. But I buy it anyway. I'm like, no, no. Listen. This is not about for me anyway. It's about the social, right? And
Yeah,
that's where for guys who drank before, because I tell my guys to stop drinking for at least 30 days because they're gonna see
right.
how their body is, and most
Mm,
guys just stop drinking because they realize, well, I don't even need alcohol. It's destroying me. Um, but it's the they realize that when they go to different places, family gathering, go out with their buddies. It's not about the alcohol. It should be about the social part of it. Because when you're
right.
drunk or when you're all over the place, you're not getting that connection. We need that connection. So yeah, that's great that your buddies do that. And yes, it will take time because everyone's gonna push you to be part of. And I'm like, hey
Oh
man, I'm
yeah, for
still
sure.
here. I'm still the life of the party. You bring me to a
Yeah,
party and we're I'll turn the whole thing up. My wife and I are the always turn it up at parties, but we don't drink. We don't, that's just us. We don't need it. We don't need it. We have it internally. We don't need it. So yeah,
that's amazing.
nutrition's key. Nutrition is key, and definitely coaching them and teaching them so that they are empowered over those foods.
Okay,
Definitely.
so I wish I could talk to you all day. I
Oh,
can't,
okay.
but I got a few more questions. So
Okay.
the sleep thing. So sleep is so 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 important. And everybody, I don't know the range you believe in. I mean, 7 hours is good for me. If I get 7 hours, I'm doing great. Eight
Mm,
hours is like the extreme for me. Six
mm,
hours is okay. So I'm 7 hours kind of my sweet spot. But
mhm.
it's taken me a lot of time and practice and reducing stress and changing things. Like I don't do business past 7. That's just for me because if I do business past 7, I'm taking it to bed with me, and then I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night thinking about something. So I established some boundaries and rules for myself to be able to sleep better, but it's a difficult thing to manage.
Yeah, I think everything, listen, change is difficult and implementing something new is difficult. It's supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be challenging because that's where you get the sustained, gratification when you get it. You got it. You have rules that you do not that nothing will change those rules. Like you don't compromise. That
No.
hey, these are my rules. This is 7 p.m. business is done. Period.
Yeah.
Rule. And these things because of something that you keep so dear to you, which is your sleep.
Yeah.
So yes, it is, again, and it's a journey too, because I like to tell these guys, listen, this is not something you need to get in 30 days. Like we're gonna work on all this stuff. So you're gonna get to a point where you realize what your sleep environment looks like, which means where you sleep physically, what your sleep environment looks like, making sure
Yeah.
that if you have problems with light, blackout windows, keep it cool, remove all the stuff that's gonna, no TV, all of those things. If you have problems,
Mm-hmm.
your routine before you go to sleep, what is that routine, right? Like
Yes.
are you on the phone just before you go to sleep? Well, you can't be on the phone because then you're going to block the melatonin, which needs
Yeah.
to be up, and your cortisol levels are going to be high, so we got to bring them down and all of that stuff. So making sure you have the right routine, that gets you to sleep. And then
Okay.
even when you're waking up in the morning, what does that routine look like, right? Like what are the things that look like in between the sleep? And then it's funny because we have to sometimes we think we're getting more sleep than we are. So tracking is key. So
Right.
thank God we have wearables. I'm not associated with Whoop. I just wear Whoop because it allows me to track my sleep patterns, right? But whatever
Okay.
you have, whatever somebody has, it's very important that we do that. We have the technology that
Oh, that's
allows us
interesting.
to
I don't do that. I'm I'm going to investigate that. So I've
yeah,
never really tracked my sleep.
yeah, it's just good because sometimes we think we're getting more, but it's not just it's not the quantity of sleep, it's the quality, right? It's the
Right.
how much restorative sleep are you getting, because it's that restorative sleep, it's that REM that's actually going to help with testosterone production. Because if you have no restorative sleep, T production doesn't happen as well as the cholesterol, but it won't happen. So and also muscles won't repair,
Right.
grow, get stronger. All of those things are not
Well,
happening.
this is good information for me. I just assumed if I don't remember hitting the pillow and then I wake up and it's time to wake up and I don't remember anything in between that I was a good
That's
sleep, but
good.
that might not be the case.
No, I mean that is a good sleep. And everyone's sleep is different. That sounds like a good sleep, but again, I'm not the sleep expert.
Well,
So,
I'm going to look into
but
this Whoop
definitely,
thing. I'm going to look into that.
yeah, because what that does is it either reaffirms that you're getting great sleep, right? Because
Yep.
we all want that affirmation that, okay, I am getting good sleep. Okay, cool. I can I'm good with that. Or it's like,
Okay.
oh, wait a minute, I thought I was getting 7 hours. Here I am getting this much or that much. Maybe my brain is going, but if you're falling asleep and then waking up and don't remember anything in between, you're probably getting really good sleep. But again,
Probably.
the Whoop is free, and it's you pay monthly, but it's worth the investment, or
I'll check that out.
Aura or whatever it is that people
So
like.
sleep
So
is foundational,
yeah,
nutrition's foundational,
recovery
uh
is the next one.
mindset's foundational. Just
Recovery.
briefly, I'd like to talk about recovery, and then but building muscle, not
Oh yeah.
getting huge, but building muscle, especially as we get older. Can you just talk about the importance of that? Because I believe that having muscle mass is something that degrades with time if we don't take care of it, as we get older. And I think for men, I don't know if it's for women, but for men, the legs are the first thing to go. And that's why elderly people fall and they have no balance and all these things. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
100%. Muscle is the key to vitality. Like
Yeah.
100%. We need to be building lean muscle. So at the age of 35, we start to suffer from sarcopenia, which is a natural loss of muscle due to aging. So probably in your 30s, actually, if you're not doing anything, you're probably losing about 8% muscle. Again, everyone's different. And then the next decade, you're losing 8% muscle from 40 to 50. Next decade, you're losing 80% muscle from 50 to 60. And then it increases from 60 on.
Yeah, it
So
declines fast.
if
Yeah.
if you add all of that muscle, and if you didn't have any muscle because you're not doing anything, your body is going to decline. You're going to be susceptible to more. Your metabolic health is going to decline.
Your heart health is
Your
going to
heart's
decline.
going to decline. Your strength, everything. Like it's just you're gonna have more belly fat, more body fat, because muscle is more metabolic than fat. It's denser. So yes, building muscle is extremely important for us guys in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond.
Yeah.
And it's not about bodybuilding, because bodybuilding is different from building muscle. Building muscle is just being strong, uh,
Yeah.
uh, focusing on feeding your muscles what they need, and then understanding, because this is the thing that I have to kind of reframe for these guys, is that muscle, we tear muscle, we break down muscle in the gym. We put our body into a catabolic state, right?
Right.
Which in the gym is good, because that's what we
Yes.
want to do. We want to tear fibers, we want to destroy ourselves in a sense. It's everything after is when muscle gets built. So we have our recovery day, which I call growth day. I call that growth day, because growth day is the day that we do mobility or yoga or Pilates or
Right.
whatever they choose. And the sleep is important, because the sleep is when your muscles are going to repair
Right.
and get bigger and stronger. So the next time you hit the workout, whether it's at home or what have you, your muscles are ready. They're like, okay, I'm ready. Plus, you're feeding your body complex carbs, because muscles
Right.
need complex proteins, of course, building blocks of muscles and bones, and the healthy fats and the vegetables and fruits. What the micronutrients, because it's the micronutrients that will help shuttle the protein and everything else to those muscles, that, and the body, so that everything can recover and work well. So building muscle is key, but letting them understand, like, sometimes they want to do more, right? I'm like, because my workouts are follow along. So I have shot the workouts. All they do is click play, because I have to make this very easy,
Of
right?
course.
Like,
Yeah.
the other thing is, you can coach someone on nutrition, but you gotta it's the why is important. You can tell people they got to work out, but I want to make it so easy that there's no barriers. All they have to do is click play, warm up, click
Right.
play, workout, click play, abs. But sometimes when they get to phase 8 and 9, when they're like in great shape, they want to do more. Funk, I was thinking about adding a couple of finishers. I'm thinking about working out on another. No, do not work out on the recovery days. You're only working out 3 to 4 times a week. That's it. Do not work out. You can walk, you can do a 15 minutes on the bike. I would like you to do mobility, because we don't have that. So mobility or yoga or those things that are challenging, so that the body
Right.
can recover. So I have to really be rigid about that and not adding anything, because that's only setting themselves up for their muscles not being able to recover. Because now you're just
Right.
stacking workouts, and when your muscle going to recover if you're working out 6 days a week, right? And we don't recover like we used to. Our joints don't recover. We have to be, see, when we're at our age, we have our margin for error is here. Like, we can't eat the way we used to when we were in
No,
our 20s and
not
then
even
still be
close.
shredded. Like, it's
No, I
insane.
could eat pizza and fries at 20 and be ripped.
When I played when I played pro volleyball indoor, I used to eat McDonald's before my games, and
Yeah.
like have the games of my life. Like, it's insane. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I used to have a fish fillet before every match. Like, that's insanity. I could never do that now. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah. When I played soccer in my early 30s, I was like, I could eat anything, and I was shredded.
Yeah,
But
totally.
it just changes. That all changes with time, and
Yeah.
that's okay too.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's what you also teach them, that it is going to change. Things are going to change, but you can keep yourself in a steady state by changing along with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, like when people look at me, they can't believe I'm 54 years old. The gray gives it away now, but they can't believe it. And it's like, how many days a week do you work out? Oh, maybe 3 times a week, maybe four if I get, because if I'm shooting a workout, then I shoot one workout. But if it's just me, it's generally 3 times a week. That's it. Like, any more for me is I don't need it, right? Because when
Yeah.
I'm training, it's like, when I'm training, it's a 30 minute, and it's a tough,
And that's an
intense.
important thing too. 30 minutes. Well, I do like up to 40 minutes, but
Yeah, 40. Yep, yep.
um, I see people that they like do an hour, hour and a half, and really bad workouts,
Mm.
a lot of bad movement. But I think, oh, you're not really getting. I think you're making it worse. I don't think that you're
Yeah.
making it any better.
No. And that's
There-
what happens. So that when there's guys who will come in and they'll say, I can't believe that I'm working out less and like losing weight and getting in like more muscle.
yeah,
Like less, meaning, because my first phase, I think the workouts are only 20 minutes. Most of my workouts are actually 20 minutes.
yeah,
20, 30 is a push. Like, when I moved to the 30-minute workouts, they're like, oh my God, it's a 30-minute workout.
yeah.
Like, yes, guys, we're evolving. We're evolving. But
I'll go in the gym, and then I'll, half an hour later, I'm leaving, and people I know will go, "That's it." I'm like, "Yeah,
yes.
that was a lot."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they don't realize they're still doing the bike. I've seen it many times where I'll do I used to do sprints on the treadmill, and I would be done my sprints, and a guy I'm looking now. Listen, I don't judge anybody who goes to the gym. I understand if you go to the gym, most guys who go to the gym don't have a plan. So they're just going to the gym and kind of picking something up and maybe
Oh yeah.
right. Or
Yeah.
if they do have a plan because they read Muscle and Fitness, like, oh, okay, here's this cool workout I'm gonna do, or they see it on Instagram, same thing. They'll go in, they'll do 8 reps each arm, and then get on the phone. It's on the phone now.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
And then literally 6, 7 minutes later, 8 minutes later, oh shit, yeah, I got to do my second set.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that bicep set takes them the same time it took me to do 10 sprint intervals on a
Right.
treadmill, or takes me to do literally 2 rounds in a workout. So
Yeah.
I do understand it is very difficult at our age to all of a sudden think that we're going to know what workouts to do, we're going to know what to eat, we're going to know all this stuff. Most guys, they don't know that. So what's the big thing that we do when we don't know something? We avoid it, right? We avoid
Yes.
it. I don't listen. I don't want to embarrass myself going over that gym, So my workouts, home workout, cool. You're gonna work out at home. All you have to do is buy some. You can do the whole body weight if you want to have a 12 months of body weight, but if you want muscle and dumbbells, work out at home. Man, I work out at home. I work out right here, man. We move all this crap. We go outside. Right. I don't always want to go to the gym either. I want to get a quick workout in, and then I know that I can get a great workout at home and come and sit right in
I'm
front of the
terrible
TV.
for that. I got to go a place somewhere to work out. I just can't work out. I get lazy at home. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'll go watch some TV or
I,
something, but yeah, some people that can do it. That's great. I do, for when I travel, I bring bands because they probably have a gym, but, I might just want to do a quick workout in my room, with bands.
yeah, definitely bands are huge. I have my funk bands, so bands are another important piece of equipment for sure. Just because for us as we get older, joint pain, we can still get a good workout with bands. And also, I travel a lot, so for me having the bands there,
Yes.
I also do like going to
Yeah.
the fitness
You're
center.
not bringing your dumbbells
No,
in your
no
luggage.
kettlebells or dumbbells. No.
Unless you're the Rock, then you can have it on your plane or whatever.
Exactly. My private plane. Yeah.
That's
And then the
right.
recovery piece is the only other thing which we kind of alluded
Yeah.
to with mobility and stuff. But that's pretty much that's it. It's just now about guys just having, just being able to listen. I'm new, like embracing that if they don't know about workouts or nutrition or anything else, to just go, listen, man, I'm new. I'm new again, right? Like I want
Yeah.
to learn. I want to know what type of workouts to do, and I'm ready to do it. And I don't care what anyone else looks like or sees me or what have you when we're at the gym. I think that's the key. And asking for help, because most guys will not ask for help. Like, I live here in a little community. These guys, everyone in this community most likely knows who I am,
Yeah.
because whenever they do the Google map, it always says my Funk Roberts house is here, because I put my house on my Google map for some stupid reason. But anyway, the point is, like, you'll always get guys coming up and they're like, hey, yeah, yeah, I was just wondering, I can't, I just want to put on a little bit of muscle or whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm always very open and
Yeah.
very, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, no problem. Like I can help you, and I understand where you're coming from. And when I open up about where I was, it actually allows them to go, oh, okay, so you do understand where I'm
Right.
coming from, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not bad to be in the situation that you're at. It's just what are you going to do about it is much better.
And your testimony is powerful. Like I think a person's testimony of where they come from is a very powerful thing because it tells a story and it tells the person it is doable.
Yes, yeah,
I
definitely.
had heart surgery in 2016, so
What
from
happened
there
there?
to uh we have coronary artery disease in the family. It's a familial thing. And so I had a couple of blocked arteries and they did bypass surgery, but I've been amazing ever since. But that journey, if I can tell people that journey, I have pictures of me in the hospital and then to now, well, if I could do it, you could do it. Like there was nothing special about me. I just was determined to get really healthy.
Yeah, that story is good. That my story is good, but I also realized that I needed other people's stories, because again,
Of
when
course.
people see me, they're like, yeah, I'd be that you're I don't I like to remove as many of the I call them when people tap out. Like I want to
Yeah.
remove all the barriers, like all the
Right.
excuses,
Right. Right.
right? So as many excuse. Okay, don't look at me. I don't even show them me. I just show them everybody else and say, here, look at all these guys. And so this is your testimony here. And then here's this easy thing. All you have to do is click play. I'm gonna guide you through everything. I'm gonna guide you nutrition. I have a nutrition book. I have a course. Like we have a place where you are on our Facebook group, and then also, I do coaching calls all the time.
I think your mic unplugged or something. I can hear you, but it's echoey. It's fine.
Are we back? We're back, right?
Yep. Yeah. Back now.
Okay, good. Yeah, yeah. So
So I have just a couple of things I'm going to have to wrap up, but
sure.
I'm going to ask you the question, but I think you must get a lot of joy watching men transform when bringing life back to men who've felt in many ways lifeless.
That is that is that's what drives me. That is my
Yeah.
number one purpose and driver in my life right now is watching these guys transform, watching them hit their milestones, watching them, and for me, it's like, okay, how do I, you know, one of the things we do is like every 3 months, the guys get a T-shirt that has something, a message on the T-shirt. It's a milestone, and it's an
Right.
important thing because it's a milestone. It's not just a T-shirt. And
Right.
after a year, they become an alpha OG, which means they've done a year. Because
Nice.
I don't know. There's probably 0.1% of the planet that can do a workout program for 1 year
Yes.
straight. Not many
Yes.
not many people can do that, right?
No.
Professional athletes don't do it. They take time off. These guys do it. So that's a massive accomplishment. But then there's the next 12 phases, right? And I had to figure out, okay, I love seeing these transformations. I see them every week. It's amazing. How do we continue down this journey? So I literally created this coin that they get after phase 24 because I find joy in watching their transformations.
Oh,
I
yeah.
find joy in watching them see that their T levels went from 300 to 600, now 600 to 800, right? Their body fat percentage went 20% down to 15%. Like, I love that. Like, that's energy for me. That's
Sounds
like my
amazing.
gasoline.
It really
It's
sounds
insane. That's
amazing.
insane. So I'm like, okay, what do we need to entice them to keep going? That's literally how. So
I
that's
love
my
it.
own little thing.
I
But
love it. And I
yeah,
think that you do a great thing, Funk. You do.
thank you. I appreciate it.
So just to wrap up, how do people find you? How do people sign up with you? Like, what's the process? How do you what's the message to men out there who are not part of your program?
Yeah, I mean, if you need help, if you want help, if you're ready, or even a little bit ready, because I can help you, increase that, then go to over40alpha.com. It's $1 for 30 days. So I want to prove to you that I am the real deal, right? Like I don't, $1. If you're not, if you don't like your results before the 30 days, then just cancel. And we're good with canceling. We got Sarah and Marianne. They're good. I don't want your money. I want to show you that I can help you, lose some weight when you come in, help you with your nutrition, and
Right.
give you a brotherhood. So it's $1, over40alpha.com. That's it. And then after, you can continue through 36 months of workouts, coaching, everything. We do live coaching twice a week, every week, every month, twice a week. And we do my Facebook hangouts every single Friday. So I am here. I'm inside
You're in
the
it.
program. I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm in it.
Oh, it's amazing. I've enjoyed talking with you, Funk, and it's I probably could do this a couple more times. So
Yeah.
if you're willing down the road, we can do
100%.
another session or two. But what you do is amazing. Being a 60-plus-year-old man, and being through my own journey and watching my friends and other people and in this culture now with so much obesity and so many other things, what you're doing, I think, is just a gift to. And do you only work with men, by the way?
Yeah,
Or
I do. I have to just keep it
right. So
because there's lots
what
out
you're
there for
offering,
women.
yeah.
There's lots out there for women. We always get thrown to the side. So
So I think what you're doing is a real gift to men. And so I encourage you, man, anybody watching this, if you even have, like Funk said, if you have even just an inkling to do something different in your life, reach out, go to the site, and we'll put the link in the description as well.
thank you, and thank you so much for giving me this platform, Mike. I think everything you're doing is great too. This platform is awesome, and I would love to come back. I can talk mental health because that is a big thing.
Yes.
We can talk anything, business. I'm
Oh
here.
man,
We can
I'll
chat.
talk
We
to
can
you.
just we can just talk if you just want to talk.
Perfect. All right, Funk. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
Take care.